Come on, children, let's have all of our children come and gather around in front. Come. Good. Don't be afraid, everybody. Come on out. Come and sit. There's more of you. Come on. Don't be afraid. I took a shower. Okay, have a seat. Okay, if you get up the nerve later, some of you can come up and join if you want, okay? And I'm going to sit down here with you guys, okay? Hi, guys. How are you today? Good. Are you excited that Tuesday it's supposed to snow? Yeah? I'm sure Mom and Dad are not too happy about that, but you are, right? Okay. Well, speaking of Mom and Dad, yes, I like the snow too, when I don't have to shovel it. Come, have a seat. Come sit right here. That's good, good. Make new friends. Okay, good. Well, speaking of Mom and Dad ever give you rules? Yeah? What are some of the rules Mom and Dad have given you? Tell me. Clean your room. Okay. Do you like to clean your room? No. But why do you have to clean your room? So you don't be messy. That's right, okay? What other rules does Mom and Dad give you? What's that? Do your homework. Yeah, what happens if you don't do your homework? Uh-oh, tell me. Your teachers get mad at you, and you can fail and have bad grades and have to go to summer school, and that's not fun, right? When you could be out swimming and having fun, instead you're still in school. Do they ever tell you not to touch the stove when it's hot? Why? You can get burned, that's right, and you know that. They ever tell you look both ways before you cross the street? Yes. Why is that important? Right, you don't want to get hit by a car. And do Mom and Dad do that? Do they give you those rules because they don't like you? No. Or because they're mad at you? No. Or they want you not to have fun? No, of course not. You know very well those rules are good. They're going to keep you safe. Sometimes there are other ones maybe are not so easy to understand, are there? Like, no, you can't have all that ice cream and candy right before dinner, even though you'd like to, right? I much prefer to have candy and ice cream than broccoli, right? So if Mom and Dad loved me, they'd let me have all the ice cream and candy I want and not have to worry about eating broccoli, right? No? Yeah, you don't like broccoli? Neither did President Bush. Well, if you prefer to have ice cream and candy instead of broccoli, why do Mom and Dad make sure you eat your broccoli and not ice cream and candy? Because it's healthy, that's right. And you lose your appetite. All right, good for you. Well, you're absolutely right, because you have to eat healthy food. If you ate junk food all the time, you'd get sick, right? So you kind of know, I really would prefer to eat ice cream, before dinner instead, but it's important that I do that. And all the other things you mentioned. So sometimes when we think about it, yeah, Mom and Dad's rules have a good point. Sometimes, though, we don't understand. We think that Mom and Dad are just being mean. I can think, for example, of when you're older. Maybe not you guys right now, but think of teenagers, or maybe people, what we call preteens, people like 11 or 12 years old that are hanging out with a bunch of kids in school that are not really the best kids. They know those kids get in trouble a lot, and they say, I really don't like you hanging out with that group of kids. And you say, oh, but they're so popular, and everybody's friends with them. I'll be friends with everyone, and I'll be popular. I like hanging out with them. And Mom and Dad said, no, but they're going to get you in trouble. And so don't hang out with them. Or maybe it's a teenager who's dating a boy or a girl, and Mom and Dad said, I don't think that person is right for you. I think they're using you. I don't think they really care about you. No, Mom, he's wonderful, she's great, blah, blah, blah. And they start dating the person behind their parents' back. Is that good? No. They don't understand, why won't Mom and Dad let me do this? I just want to be popular. They don't want me to have friends. They don't want me to have fun. They just want me to be bored. No, they don't. They don't want you to get hurt. And sometimes moms and dads can look and say, why don't my children understand? I'm not saying this because I'm mean, because I have snakes for hair and fangs, and because I'm just trying to do everything I can to make their lives horrible. I love them, and I know better than they do what's going to be good for them. Why won't they just trust me and listen to me and do what I tell them, right? Well, you know what? Sometimes we do the same thing with God. God gives us rules, and some of our rules we all understand. Yeah, they make perfect sense. Yeah, you don't steal things, because if somebody steals something of ours, we get very mad, right? And there's all sorts of other bad things we don't do to people. But then there's other things that God tells us, and sometimes we don't like. And we say, but I want to do that. But that would be so much easier. But I like that. But I think that's wrong. Why are you telling me that I can't do that? And we think that, well, no, we know better than God. I'm not going to do it his way. I'm not going to do what God tells me to do. And you know what? The man in the gospel reading did that with us today. He did that to Jesus. Hey, guys. Okay, cool, good. You know what? The guy in the gospel reading did that to Jesus today. He was really sick. He had a very sick disease that he was going to die from. And he asked Jesus to heal him. And he says, I know you can do it, Lord. And he says, yes, I do will to heal you. Be cleansed. And he cleansed him immediately, and the man's, what they call leprosy, was gone. And the man was perfectly healthy again. But Jesus told him one thing. He said to him, he warned him sternly. Do you know what that means? To warn someone sternly? Do you know what that means? Seriously, right. You better listen to me. I'm warning you sternly. You better listen, he says. Don't go telling everybody else what I did for you. Just keep it quiet and just thank God. Don't go telling all the world. And you know what? The guy went out and told everybody anyway. He disobeyed what Jesus was telling him to do. And what was the result of that? Now everybody heard about Jesus, that he healed this man, and they coming from all over the place to be healed. And Jesus could no longer go into a town and sit with people and talk to them and preach to them. He had to stay out in the desert, in lonely places. And people were coming just to be healed and not to listen to him. And so that man, because he just couldn't keep it to himself, he went out and he kind of put a monkey wrench in everything Jesus was trying to do. Now Jesus could not go into towns and preach, all because that man didn't listen to Jesus. Now we don't blame him. Jesus cured him of something really serious and he wanted to tell people, but Jesus told him not to do so. He warned him sternly, and he disobeyed Jesus. And that reminds us that when God teaches us things, sometimes we don't like it. And sometimes we decide we're just going to disobey. Maybe we're going to second guess God and say, but why wouldn't God want me to do this? After all, I know he normally says for other people it's not good. But for me, no, I'm different. I have a separate thing in life. But God says, no, what I'm telling you is not good for you. And he's not saying it because he's trying to make us mean and not have friends and not do all the things we want to do. He knows better than we do what's going to be good for us. And so he tells us, trust me. Just like your moms and dads might be frustrated if you don't listen to them when they know what they're talking about, God is frustrated if we don't trust him. And he says, why won't you listen to me? I know that you want to do that, but that's not going to lead you close to me. That's going to lead you away from me. That's going to get you sick. That's going to lead you into sin, and you don't want to do that. Now, this Wednesday, a special day is coming up called Ash Wednesday. Right? And we begin Lent. And sometimes people give things up for Lent, and we look and try to see what we can do to be better before God. And so maybe, especially grown-ups here, that maybe we can look and see, is there anywhere in our lives that we're second-guessing God, that we're giving ourselves excuses to ignore what God tells us to do simply because we think we know better, or, well, in my case, God would make an exception because he understands me. And we know the answer is no, we're not supposed to do that. I think that would be a great thing for us to do during Lent, to try to say, okay, Lord, let me trust in you and you completely. Just as children should trust their parents completely, so, God, I should trust you completely. And when we do, we're going to find such happiness, such peace, such beautiful things in our lives. Cool? Sound good? All right, very good. And you can help mom and dad do that. And remember, if mom and dad tell you not to do something, it's because they love you, not because they're trying to make you unhappy. Okay? Good? When you go to see your parents, give them a big hug and kiss and tell them you love them. Okay? Go ahead now.